The film starts in the date 1905. A band of English troops is away on a stalking mission. The target is intended to be handed to a top-ranking army official attending a nighttime party. Out of the troops is Percy Fawcett, a British captain who has landed with his spouse, Nina, and their young boy, Jack. When the stalk commences, Percy succeeds to land the effective strike. To him, this signifies more than just claiming a match. He trusts this success could eventually bring respect to his family's reputation. Yet when the party starts later that night, his feat barely gets observed. No acclaim, no visibility. Life moves ahead. A full period rolls. Ultimately, Percy is requested to the Royal Mapmaking Institution in London. In that place, he meets a chap named John, who clarifies the scenario. Amid Bolivia and Brazil rests the huge Amazon jungle, and the precise frontier dividing the two states stays vague. The friction has turned into a major crisis since the area's latex commerce is hurting because of the continuous frictions. The group requires somebody fit for charting the zone and aiding set up the correct borders. And John trusts Percy as the ideal choice. He alerts him that this will not be a routine project. Yet if Percy triumphs, he can gain immense credit and lastly obtain the status he's passed seasons tracking. Once he passes the updates to Nina, the instance could not be harsher. She's carrying with their second child. Even so, task beckons and shortly Percy starts organizing for the voyage. When his craft sets out, something odd grabs his focus. He discovers somebody has covertly boarded the craft. Following probing, Percy locates a guy named Henry skulking inside. Once confronted, Henry clarifies that he's another trooper. He possesses no relatives staying for him back home and passionately longs to join the trek. After listening him out, Percy consents to bring him along. And right like that, the two guys start a path that will alter their souls for good. Multiple days afterward, they at last reach the Amazon. The wilderness instantly displays how merciless it can get. Advancing through these rough environments, the band ultimately lands at an outpost where they meet a merchant titled Baron. Baron derives his income via the rubber market, so peace amidst Bolivia and Brazil can heavily help him. As Percy's task could assist avert upcoming clash, Baron resolves to back the voyage. He supplies multiple guys, 2 mounts, and most critically, a native escort who understands the jungle finer than anybody else. With their gear protected, the band moves further into the wild. Their goal is to gain the head of a close stream, and for present, that stream turns into their pilot. The path is grueling. Percy gets a note from Nina. Inside is fantastic data. She has given life to an infant lad. She has termed him Brian. Not much after, things take a risky shift. Except warning, a collection of native fighters strikes the voyage. The clash results in multiple guys harmed, and one soul of the crew fails to outlive the strike. Amidst the turmoil, Percy plunges into the stream and manages to flee. Later, the pilot clarifies that outsiders traveling across these regions are commonly viewed as hazards. While the voyage proceeds, the guide shares a gripping myth. Past the Cascade, they're searching for rests in incredibly thick and uncharted zone of woods. Matching with old myths, masked somewhere past it is a hidden town of gold. A spot so fantastic that anybody who gains it never longs to depart. A heaven masked from the rest of the planet. Percy hears but does not take the myth heavily. At least not now. Regardless, the voyage difficulties continue to expand. Meal stocks start getting dangerously short. Frictions escalate. Clashes erupt out among the guys. Then they at last view it. The Cascade. Their endpoint. A spot no recognized traveler has ever successfully recorded before. Following arriving, they track for meals and reclaim some power. At the same period, Percy finishes the calculations he was dispatched to gather. Yet while inspecting the zone, he uncovers something sudden. Old ceramic shards, relics that ought not be there. And all at once, the escort's myth does not feel so unthinkable further. And deep inside, a fresh mania starts to develop. The hunt for the hidden town. Though everyone longs to go back home, inside including Percy himself. Thus, after multiple months, the voyage lastly heads back to community. Their return is applauded as a huge triumph. After all, they have traversed land that barely anyone trusted existed. Percy reveals his details to a crowd that includes a scientist named James. Then, period afterward, he reveals his details before the Royal Mapmaking Institution. As he recounts his events, he also passes his expanding trust that a hidden ancient town can rest somewhere within the Amazon. The reply is instant. Many of the crowd reject the concept. To them, it sounds like nothing more than a fantasy, an exaggerated jungle legend, a story, not history. But Percy isn't finished because he has something that alters the room thoroughly. A paper drafted by a Portuguese trooper back in 1753. Matching with the note, The trooper vowed to have gained a unique town packed with striking monuments, shrines, and signs of a developed society. A spot far past what most souls trusted existed inside the Amazon. And since the paper emerges from the archives of Trinity School, its reliability is tough to disregard. All at once, the space turns still. For the primary instance, souls start holding Percy's premise seriously, and before long, he gets authorization to go back to the Amazon once more. This round, Henry and James can join him. The second voyage commences with big wishes. As the crew keeps journeying, they ultimately gain a river ford. And then it materializes. Except warning, shafts start darting from the surrounding woods. It's the matching clan that struck Percy seasons prior. For a brief moment, turmoil looms to rule over. Yet Percy acts differently this round. Before anybody can panic, he begins yelling a single term over and over. "Friend, friend!" The clan welcomes the travelers into their outpost. For the primary instance, the voyage is offered refuge instead of anger. While resting there, James beholds a tribal practice that appalls him. When he brings it up to Percy, Percy mildly clarifies the clan's belief method. Matching with their beliefs, respecting departed souls in this path, permits their ghosts to stay with the Fellowship. Afterward, Percy connects with the clan's leader and inquires about the hidden metropolis he has passed epics tracking for. The leader points further into the woods. He clarifies that if they proceed straight forward for multiple suns, they'll ultimately face a different clan. Those folks might understand more, so they push ahead. Regrettably, matters just turn worse. While voyaging by stream, their craft drops equilibrium, forcing them to dump precious gear into the water. To make situations bad, James drops into the stream as well. As gratefully, Henry manages to drag him back to safety. At this juncture, Percy's calm lastly burns out. Realizing that James can no further proceed, Percy settles a tough option. He directs James back. One of the escorts paths him together with a mount, ensuring he possesses a secure track home. The rest of the team presses onward. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months. And slowly the Amazon begins breaking everyone's spirit. No matter how hard Percy pushes, the lost city remains out of reach. Eventually he faces the truth he never desired to adopt. The voyage must go back. For present, the Amazon has triumphed. When Percy lastly returns home, he's coupled with his household. And despite the letdown of the botched task, seeing them again grants him raw joy. Shortly, Percy and his partners are summoned before the Royal Mapmaking Institution once more. As they enter, the feeling in the space turns stiff. Many anticipate Percy to confess, yet Percy answers differently. He recalls everyone that James's deeds added vastly to the journey's downfall. The wasted gear, the continuous hurdles, the needless dangers. Then Percy utters something unexpected. He declares that a confession is owed, but not to James. Rather, he owes one to the men who backed his choices when he picked to bring James along. And with that, Percy quits. Time passes. Then the year turns 1914. The Great European War commences. Like endless others, Percy is drafted into army duty. The update vastly troubles his boy Jack. He feels that every instance Percy lands home, a different task drags him off again. Jack blames his dad of valuing more about tracks than household. The text hits Percy roughly. In a passionate instance, he acts in a path he immediately rues. Yet despite everything, obligation once more drags him off. Even while battling in the clash, Percy cannot stop dreaming about the hidden town. The fixated focus remains with him even in the trenches. Through scopes, he asserts she can see flashes of people's paths. Following observing Percy for a bit, she shares him something unique. She states he is seeking for something immensely critical. And matching with her, he's nearer to locating it than he perceives. All he should do is stay tracking. Those terms spark something inside him. The past drive returns. Shortly after, Percy locates himself in the center of heavy combat. During one clash, rival troops prompt a poison gas strike. The results are ruining. Percy and his partner troops withstand immense trial, but they reject to yield. Ultimately, they land victory. Ultimately, the clash finishes. Percy quits and returns to a calmer existence with his loved ones. But the myth of the missing town has kept rolling across the planet. Now even the United States is crafting its own journey into the Amazon. Shortly afterward, Percy and Jack express farewell to their dear ones and commence their concluding path. Multiple days later, they gain the Amazon once more. Through notes directed home, Percy informs Nina that they are residing calmly amidst gentle clans. The native folks have even displayed them a cavern masked in past sketches. Keys that can lastly lead them to the town. Together, they press deeper into the unknown than ever before. Then everything alters. They turn cornered in the center of a clash between two. Then, something sudden materializes. Jack approaches his dad. This instance, there is no fury. Jack informs Percy that he lastly perceives the hunt for the missing town has constantly been his dad's biggest goal. And if Western delegates contact Percy, wishing he'll assist pilot their hunt, but Percy declines. Somebody is bound to locate it. They must do it together. Dad and boy, side by side. Grasping those terms loads Percy with honor. At length, his boy understands him. Strange clans. One of the bands grabs them. Shortly after, both guys are offered a weird beverage, and following that sun, neither Percy nor Jack is ever viewed further. Eris drift, then epochs. At length, we observe Nina once again. Now aged, she keeps seeking for replies. One day she encounters John and imparts something notable. A South American voyager lately declared to have witnessed Percy and Jack residing among native populations deep inside the jungle. Might they yet be breathing? Might they have truly located the metropolis? John clarifies that multiple tracking squads have been dispatched into the woods over the eras. None located Percy, none located Jack. The riddle stays unanswered. In the movie's concluding words, we're informed that Nina expired in 1954, yet keeping the recollection of her spouse and boy. And perhaps the most gripping section of all, this tale is structured on true events. And that's the end of today's story. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more exciting movie recaps. See you in the next video.